I'm here with Julie with Blend Nutrition in the Woodlands, and I am getting ready to do this body scan. Julie, tell us a little bit about what I'm about to do.
Yeah, so this is actually a 3D body scanner. So what we do is we measure body fat percentage, we calculate tape measurements. It gives you the ability to really know what makes up your weight and track and trend your progress. So every time you scan, you get a progress report showing how many inches you've lost, how your weight is changing, making sure that you're focusing on fat loss and not just weight loss. So
super important.
Yes, so it's a 13-page report each time you scan, and it's going to break down we're going to capture all the baseline measurements today, and then next time when you scan, we'll be able to see, if you've had weight loss, if it's fat. We calculate fat mass, lean mass, and bone mass, so you can monitor those three main components of your weight.
How often should people do these scans if you're working out on a pretty regular basis to track your weight loss?
So, 3 to 4 weeks is best, just because, especially when you can scan anytime you start a new program. It's a tool that you can use to not only set a realistic time-based goal for yourself, but also be able to monitor how different nutrition or fitness programs are working for you. So that way, you want to give it a few weeks and be as consistent as possible. And then after a few weeks, you scan again and see really, if your body's liking that, because everybody is just so different.
Right.
You and your mom are doing this journey together, which is incredible, but your bodies might definitely
different.
Yeah, to
different
macros, different calorie numbers, different exercises. A lot of people ask what's the best exercise to lose weight, but it's truly different for everybody. So
perfect. All right, let's get this started, and you guys can see how the scan goes.
Yep, so super simple. Your only job is to stay still for 35 seconds.
Okay.
It's going to slowly rotate with you on it. So you're going to stand up nice and tall, and then arms are going to be out at a 45-degree angle. We're going to stay right into that green zone, so lift up. Perfect, right there, okay?
Okay.
So super still. It's going to give us a 3-second countdown, and then it's going to slowly rotate you all the way around. So it calculates body fat percentage, it does your BMI. We take over 17 different tape circumference measurements. So every inch lost or gained down to, even down to the centimeter, we'll be able to collect on here. It's also gonna do a health analysis. So if you're kind of in that high risk area, it'll give you suggestions on how many inches you need to see go down from the waistline to lower your health risk. And then of course, calculating the bone mass is really important, so you can make sure you're eating enough for your body.
Perfect.
All right, so that looks great. So we're gonna start your profile here.
So now that my scan is done, Julie's going to go over my results so you guys can see basically what the scan will tell you after you finish.
Yeah, lots of information here. So up on the screen, we're going to have all of your baseline measurements. This program calculates fat mass, lean mass, and bone mass. So bone mass is taken out of the equation, and body fat percentage is calculated just fat mass versus lean mass. So the ranges on here are going to be similar to ADEXA. This is truly the gold standard in body composition testing. So it's got you at 30.6%, which is in the fit range. So it's a healthy range to be in for a female. Fat mass is at 49.2. We've got our lean mass, which is healthy weight, at 106.5. That's fantastic for your height. And then 5 pounds for your bone mass. So 111 pounds of your weight is healthy weight. So we want to make sure each time you scan, if your goal is weight loss, we want to make sure it's only coming from that category, and these two numbers are maintaining as much as possible. That way you're toned and healthy at the end of that road.
So with these numbers, would you say that if my goal was to lose like 30 pounds, that is still a realistic and would work with what these numbers are saying?
I would definitely say it's a little bit unrealistic. Just because even at our healthiest, we're still going to have fat mass. A female is going to have more fat mass than a man, so those ranges are different for men and women. But you only have 49.2 pounds for your fat mass. So if
So
your
like 20
goal,
pounds then would
yeah,
be
20
more
pounds
realistic.
would put you to where, especially if you're maintaining your healthy weight, that would put you to where you're very, very lean.
Okay.
You're already beautiful and perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're in that healthy fit range. So if you have a personal goal to lean out a little bit more and to shed a little bit of unwanted body fat, we can actually use the program to calculate what that would look like as far as body fat percentage. So all these green lines are your tape measurements. So aside from your weight, which is, you know, just a kind of a number there, we'll be able to track and trend your total inches lost or gained down to the centimeter, and then collectively on each one of those. So makes online shopping really easy as well. So now you have all your measurements. It also breaks your weight into regions so you can get a better understanding of where you're gaining and losing. Not that we can't feel it, but sometimes we think we've stalled out, or we get tied up and say, oh, we're not losing in a certain problem area, but it'll help you really validate your efforts, because you might be, you just don't realize it. So android mass is fat mass in the upper body, gynoid mass is in the lower belly button hip area. Visceral fat, yours is great, it's at 1 pound, so that's fat that accumulates around the organs. And then subcutaneous fat is fat that we accumulate over the muscle under the surface of the skin. So that's our cellulite that we don't want. Yes, but yours is at 3.5, that's a great number. You have a personal goal to get that down a little bit more. But again, we're always gonna have some subcutaneous fat. So setting a realistic goal for yourself is important. It's also got your BMI, which is your weight and your height. So again, if you are super muscular and you have a high BMI, sometimes we just can't get that down. And then a visual comparison each time you come in, a side-by-side comparison, which is just so amazing to be able to rotate that 360 degrees, and it's really going to show you a lot of changes that you've been making that you can't necessarily see in the mirror.
Yes, it also shows you how I have no butt.
But you have a beautiful hourglass shape. You're great. So these are the different ranges. So on your body fat analysis, it'll show you where you rank amongst other women or men in your age range, and then kind of where you are on that. So you're right smack dab in the middle of that. So even if you wanted to get to where you're at the very bottom of that fit range, you've got athletic, which is very, very lean down and shredded. It's a body fat percentage that we can all get to, but it is hard unless you're very meticulous to maintain that. So even if you wanted to lose the majority of your fat mass, that's 14.5 pounds. So a lot of people honestly are not as fat as they think they are.
This is like such a perfect tool to help get your focus off the number on the scale, because I know for me personally, I'm always so like, oh my gosh, that number's so freaking high. But I'm like, I don't feel as fat as this is telling me I'm fat. And so this is just such a great tool to use to help kind of like, okay, I'm seeing that half my body is not this weight, and it's more muscle.
Yeah, more muscle. Most people, as they gain weight, if you've gained a substantial amount of weight over time, a lot of times it's muscle and we just don't even realize it. So it's hard to ever weigh like what we weighed before we had kids or at different points in our life. So because we do gain healthy weight in the process. So a realistic goal, extreme goal for you would honestly be 15 pounds, and not necessarily from the scale, but 15 pounds of fat loss. And then we can actually use this to set kind of a calorie range, a calorie expenditure based on your activity level. What is your, about 5 days a week between all the walks and rowing and all the different things you're going to be doing. On here, we've got your BMR, that's how many calories your body's burning at rest. So just to breathe. We always need to eat at least what our bodies need in order just to be functional. This is your calorie expenditure. So each time you scan, you will be able to update and see how your BMR is changing, because it does change. A lot of people think when they have extra fat mass that their metabolism is slow, but a lot of times it's just a matter of food choices and increasing activity level. So a healthy calorie range, a good starting point for you would be about 1788.
Okay.
And then that's just a range. You can do whatever you'd like to do. So the beauty about it is just stick with whatever you decide to, whatever road you decide to go down for your nutrition and measure if it's successful. Then you know if you need to tailor up or down from there.
Perfect.
But a realistic timeline for you to do it in a healthy way where you're making steady, consistent progress and maintaining healthy weight loss would be December 3rd.
Okay, so minus all the holiday food that's going to be going
Exactly.
on,
So then just get where you want to be and maintain it. And actually, when you are using this program, when you get to where you want to be, you can see kind of figure out where those maintenance numbers are for you.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily always eating at a calorie deficit. You can figure out and slowly work those calories back into your diet and then maintain weight loss for a long period of time.
Perfect.
Yep, and then your health report is on there and you're perfectly healthy. Your waist circumference is normal. If it wasn't, it would definitely let you know kind of where to make those adjustments. Your waist to hip ratio is low risk. All of your indicators are low risk and you don't technically need to lose anything from that mid waistline to be any healthier than you are. So for you, it's just personal goals.
Yeah.
And hopefully the scan will be able to really validate your efforts and hold you accountable for your progress.
Great, I love it.
Yes.
I think that this is such a great tool to use before you're starting a fitness program. That way it will give you a baseline when you are going into trying out new workouts, you're starting a diet, and you will have the measurements and the tools that you need to kind of get you in the right mindset.
Yeah, and every time you scan, I definitely help you strategize and understand what those numbers are telling you. So, because it is a lot of information. It's a 13-page report every time you scan. So, yeah.
Well, that way too, like if you are, let's say you've been doing Pilates, 2-3 days a week for a month, and you're like, this is not working for me, you can come in and get scanned and see where it might be working on you, and you can change workout routines or maybe adjust in your diet where it's needed.
Exactly. I scan people every day that hardly lose any weight, or maybe they're only losing a couple pounds and they're super discouraged until we do the scan and the inches are going and the fat's going. But if you're eating appropriately for your body, it's not uncommon for you to gain healthy weight and lean mass in the process. So you might be swapping lean mass for fat mass and the scale will just
stay the same.
It will just stay the same. So, yep, it'll really give you a lot of insight on how to make that adjustment. So everything gets sent to your email. So it's a 13-page report right into your email. It's always saved here on a secure cloud. So each time you scan, we'll be able to pick and choose what reports we want to compare to. So even if it's a year from now, we can really look at your before and after and see those numbers.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
letting
you.
us do this.
Thank
and
you.
taking the time.
Yes.
Love it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you. I'm so excited to see your
Me
progress.
too.